Our story begins on the road to Little Root Town, where a familiar girl rides her bike through the woods. 10-year-old May is on her way to Professor Birch's lab to get her starter Pokemon. Silently, she thinks to herself how she doesn't really like Pokemon, but how she can't wait to travel and see new sights. Her thoughts are then interrupted by a shout of, "Wait up, May!" Another bike crests the hill, and its rider attempts to catch up by doing a jump. But when a wild Duskull appears, the young rider pulls over, his eyes shining with excitement as he stares at the Pokemon. May, having stopped as well, watches this with a grimace. "Ash," she scolds, "we're never going to make it to Dad's friend's lab if you keep stopping for every Pokemon." You see, in this timeline, Ash Ketchum is not a boy from Pallet Town. Here he hails from Petalburg City, where he grew up with his parents, Norman and Caroline, his younger brother Max, and of course, his twin sister May. After the incident with the Duskull, the twins get back on the road, their competitive nature causing them to race the rest of the way on their bikes. When they arrive at Birch's lab, they are greeted by the professor himself, and led inside to choose their starters. Since in this timeline there is no Pikachu to cause havoc, Birch is able to give the twins a traditional introduction to the starters of the Hoenn region, Treecko, Mudkip, and Torchic. Like in canon, Torchic immediately takes a liking to May, running up and brushing against her leg. Since she finds Treecko creepy and is underwhelmed by Mudkip, she is happy to accept Torchic as her partner. Meanwhile, Ash chooses Treecko, who is happy to go with him since he defended it from May's criticism. Ash is a bit shocked, however, to learn that it is not a water type. With their starters in hand, plus a new Pokédex each from Professor Birch, Ash and May both bid the professor farewell and head back home. Thanks to no electric rodents with a penchant for frying bicycles being present, they are able to hop on their bikes and be back in Petalburg City by dinner time. When they arrive home, Caroline starts fixing a celebratory dinner, while Max eagerly asks to see his elder sibling's Pokemon. Ash and May acquiesce, bringing forth Treecko and Torchic. Max praises his brother's choice while snidely suggesting that May should have at least picked a Mudkip. This causes Torchic to peck Max and chase him around the gym, much to everyone else's amusement. The rest of the evening is spent recounting the day of adventures the twins had, and Caroline advising them on what to pack for their journey. But eventually the topic turns to the gym challenge. While May largely brushes this aside in favour of getting the lowdown of the best restaurants to visit, Ash is fired up. He exclaims that he wants to have a gym battle with his father first thing in the morning. Norman is flattered, but reminds his eldest son that the Petalburg gym rules require 3 Pokemon to challenge it. However, as a compromise, he offers to have an unofficial double battle with Ash and May in the morning. May is less than thrilled, but seeing how excited Ash is, she agrees to go along with it for his sake. The next morning rolls around, and good to his word, Norman is ready to face his children. Ash is practically buzzing when he enters the battle room, but May is bedraggled and still in her pajamas. Norman inquires if she's ready for battle or bed, but May snips that Ash woke her up early for this. The question of May's attire solved, Norman declares the rules for the double battle. Ash and May can each choose a Pokemon, while he will only be using his Vigoroth. The battle will end when either Vigoroth is unable to battle, or both of the twins' Pokemon are. Ash sulks a bit, saying that Norman is taking it easy on them by only using Vigoroth. The gym leader promises this will be far from an easy match. All 3 trainers call out their Pokemon, and the battle begins. Ash is the first to act, telling Treecko to use Pound while Norman calls for a Scratch. Tail and Claw clash in midair, while May is still scrambling for her Pokédex to learn what Torchic's moves are. Alone, Treecko is easily pushed back, and Ash snaps at his sister to get serious. May snaps back that if Ash hadn't rushed her, she might have been ready. The twins begin to bicker, and this spells doom for their teamwork. Without any instruction, Treecko is left in the dark what to do next, and is subsequently sent flying when Vigoroth delivers another Scratch. Torchic falls seconds later to a flamethrower, and so the match is over. This only gives the twins another thing to argue over, as they each try to place the blame for losing squarely on the other, until Norman breaks the fight up. He explains they both played a part in this defeat, thanks to their lack of teamwork but also their lack of communication with their Pokemon. He encourages them to work on this before challenging his gym again. Ash and May accept their father's words and decide to go to Rustboro City to try the gym there. But before they can go, Max pleads with them to come with. May is naturally reluctant, but Max puts his effort into winning over his brother, and since the boys have a close bond, Ash says he can come. Norman and Caroline seem happy with this arrangement, gifting badge cases to Ash and May and a Pokénav to Max. The new trio then head into Petalburg Woods. As three new travelers, the siblings still make the mistake of forgetting to pack any food, and by lunchtime the next day, they find themselves lost and more than a little hangry. Wishing they had their mother's cooking, the trio debate how they're going to ward off starvation long enough to reach Rustboro. Tempers flare, until Max dips into his snack stash and reveals his last chocolate cookie. Together they all agree to split the cookie into thirds, but a ravenous Taillow foils this plan when it steals and eats the cookie. The trio give chase like in Kennen and find themselves in the heart of Taillow territory, and so the flock of Taillow that live here attack. With no Deus Ex Brockner to save them, Ash and May have no choice but to call forth their Pokemon. May's Torchic uses Ember to hold off the masses, while Ash's Trico goes for the leader who stole their cookie. Pound and Wing Attack collide, but Ash has taken yesterday's lesson to heart, so even when the first attack fails, he keeps instructing his Trico to use Pound over and over. The Taillow leader meets Trico blow for blow, resulting in a stalemate. Before a winner can be crowned, May and Torchic manage to create an opening in the swarm and so the trio flee to a nearby river. Luckily, most of the Taillow don't give chase, having only been angered that the humans barged in on their territory. But the leader continues to pursue them, since it wants a definitive answer to who is stronger, it or Trico. At the riverbank, Taillow demands its rematch, which Ash and Trico accept. It should be noted here that Trico is not the same as the one Ash catches in the main timeline. This Trico is more eager to impress, rather than playing it cool. It is also younger and more inexperienced, like May's Torchic. This makes it battle-hungry, and causes it to charge head-on at Taillow. But this time, Taillow has the measure of its opponent, and uses a barrage of quick attacks to stop Trico before it is able to counter. Ash gets flustered at this, and he looks to his siblings for help. May only offers panic, and Max unhelpful criticism. To this end, Trico is defeated, and Taillow preens over its vanquished foe. It then takes flight back to its territory, satisfied in its own strength. Ash is understandably dejected, and with the other side of Petalburg Woods nowhere in sight, the trio bite the bullet and backtrack to Petalburg City in the Pokemon Center. Max returns to the gym, much to the surprise of his parents who had not expected to see him so soon. Here he explains the incident with the Taillow. Meanwhile, at the Pokemon Center, Ash and May have a talk. Ash explains to May that he is upset that he allowed Trico to get so badly hurt, and between that and their defeat at the hands of Norman, he questions whether he's really cut out to be a Pokemon trainer. May tells her brother that she can sympathize with the desire to give up. What happened in the woods was terrifying, but she also knows him better than anyone, and all his life he's loved Pokemon more than anything in the world. She tells him she won't allow him to give up on his dream because of one bad experience, and that he needs to get back out there. Ash thanks May for her advice, but tells her he needs some time to think, and so he leaves the waiting room to go sit by Trico's bedside. Hours pass, and Ash never leaves Trico's side. Even when it gets late, he sleeps in his chair rather than leave his Pokemon. When the morning comes, Trico opens its eyes, and the first thing it sees is its trainer. Hearing Trico move, Ash wakes up and apologizes to the little green Pokemon for all the hurt he's put it through. Trico shrugs this off and nuzzles Ash, reaffirming their mutual dedication to each other. Later in the morning, Ash finally returns to the gym where all his family are waiting for him. Norman asks Ash what he plans to do next, to which Ash replies he's going to head back into the woods and try to reach Rustboro City. Norman is evidently pleased by this answer, as are May and Max, who tell their brother he won't be going alone. Caroline even adds her 2 cents, saying she's proud of what a resilient young man Ash has grown into. After a hearty lunch of sandwiches, the children of Caroline and Norman set off once more into Petalburg Woods. Now better prepared, The trio manage to steer clear of Taylor territory, and even stumble upon a Pokemon Center in the middle of the forest that lets them shower and enjoy a warm bed after several days of camping. However, Ash doesn't want to waste this brief reprieve merely resting, so while his siblings take a break, Ash and Trico begin training. Having seen the devastating power of Taylor's Quick Attack, Ash is determined to teach it to Trico. First, he simply tells Trico to charge as fast as it can, but this doesn't amount to much, so Ash decides that maybe Trico needs to be in the heat of a real battle to get the hang of it. Thankfully, not long after this, the group pass by a gym boasting the world's strongest Pokemon. Ash immediately runs ahead to challenge it, but May, when asked by Max why she isn't as eager, says that since it's an unofficial gym with no badges to be won, she'll sit this one out. At the unofficial gym, Ash demands a chance to challenge the world's strongest Pokemon. His wish is granted, and he is introduced to Anthony and his Pelipper, who agree to face his Trico. Since Ash has the type advantage, he feels confident, but this is quickly shattered when Pelipper uses Flamethrower. Ash yells for Trico to dodge, and the little green Pokemon begins leaping around the battlefield, slowly picking up speed to stay one step ahead of the flames. This gives Ash an idea, and he tells Trico to store up the power in its legs before jumping. When Trico tries this, it goes hurtling forward with incredible speed and force. Delighted to have figured out Quick Attack, Ash calls for one against Pelipper. Trico goes for broke, bounding forward and slamming hard into Pelipper's bill. There is a brief rattling noise that seems out of place, but it is quickly forgotten when Pelipper gets off a point-blank Flamethrower that knocks Trico out. Anthony tells Ash that he never stood a chance, but when May and Max arrive, they find that instead of wallowing, Ash is smiling. On the way back to the Pokemon Center, he tells them that even though he lost, that battle was just as exciting as fighting their father, and to top it off, he and Trico finally managed to get the hang of Quick Attack. The others are happy for Ash, and after a short rest, they get back on the road, none the wiser to Anthony's cheating. Briefly, the trio stop to swim in a lake, but May is scared of the Lotad who live there, and so they decide to get back on the road sooner than they planned. This has a cascading effect that brings them to Rustboro Hall, slightly earlier than in the main timeline. Having all grown up in Hoenn, the siblings are all familiar with the idea of a Pokemon contest, and both Ash and May are eager to try and enter. Thanks to their earlier arrival, both are able to secure contest passes and entry into the contest. Max is jealous that he can't enter, but a trainer with a Beautifly named Janet offers to let him be her assistant if it's alright with Ash and May. They both agree, and get to know Janet and her partner Chaz. The four become fast friends, and promise to give it their all in the contest. When the bell rings, the coordinators go their separate ways, wishing each other luck. Ash is first to perform, and he tells Trico to use a series of quick attacks. Though it is impressive to see how far they've come in such a short time, it's still a rather bland performance that gets middling to poor results with the judges. Next is Chaz, and then Janet. They both use the same Pokemon as in canon, and due to their experience put on impressive performances. Finally it comes to May, who has her Torchic fire Ember into the sky, then jump and peck each, creating rapid-fire fireworks, to the delight of the crowd. When it comes time to announce the coordinators moving on to the battle round, Janet, Chaz, and May all proceed. However, Ash does not. Ash is disappointed, but he shrugs this off and encourages his sister to win for both of them. Chaz and Janet commend their spirit, and Chaz even offers to help Ash prepare for his Rustboro gym battle. Chaz erroneously assumes that since Trico is a grass type, it will be an easy match for Ash. However, Ash reveals his Trico doesn't actually know any grass moves. Just Pound and Quick Attack. Chaz finds this strange as it should have learned Absorb between these two moves, but Ash explains they learned Quick Attack together after running with some Taylor, rather than through natural progression. Chaz understands and offers to teach Trico an alternate move that will be very effective against Roxanne's rock types. Ash is eager to learn this move, and so the pair head off to practice Iron Tail. Meanwhile, May is less excited when she sees that her first opponent will be none other than Janet. The battle round begins with Chaz making a brief reappearance to sweep his opponent and earn his place in the finals. After that, the second semi-final battle begins. May versus Janet. When May takes the stage, she sees both her brothers and Trico in the front of the stands cheering for her, and this gives May a bit more confidence. She calls for Torchic and Janet brings forth Beautifly. There is a pause, and they are told to begin. May starts off with an Ember, hearing Max yell something about type effectiveness. But this goes awry when a Silver Wind from Beautifly not only sends the attack back, it also costs her heavily in points. Next, Beautifly uses String Shot, wrapping poor Torchic up like a mummy. Then with a flick of its snout, Beautifly rapidly unwraps the little chicken, causing it to spin like a top while the crowd laughs at it. Things looking bad for May, so she calls for a peck. However, when Torchic leaps up to attack, Beautifly simply dodges and Torchic overshoots, getting its beak stuck in the ceiling. This costs May the remainder of her points, and she is eliminated from the contest without having taken a single point from Janet. Janet congratulates May on a great first showing, and promises that with time she is certain May will grow into a great coordinator. May thanks Janet, but is still bummed as she walks off stage. Backstage in the dressing room, Ash consoles May, reminding her of what she said to him when Trico was injured. He also tells her how happy she looked up there, much happier than she ever did when they talked about gyms or the Pokemon League. May agrees with this and admits that before her crushing defeat, she was actually thinking of switching from gyms to contests. Ash excitedly tells her this is a great idea. May is unsure, but Ash keeps insisting that May is a natural coordinator, and after a bit of cajoling, she decides she will try again in the next contest. The twins share a hug, then Ash goes off to keep practicing. May takes Ash's place in the audience, and watches Chaz and Janet in the finals. Her love of contests is reignited as she watches two skilled coordinators at work. And when Janet claims victory and is given her ribbon, May is sure this is the path she wants to take. At the end of the day, the group split up, with Chaz wishing Ash luck in his gym battle, and Janet saying she hopes to face May again in a future contest. Spirits are high as May, Ash, and Max continue on their way to Rustboro City. The next day, while doing some Pokemon watching, Ash and May spot a Wurmple, which Max points out has the potential to evolve into Beautifly. As a result, both of the twins become eager to catch it, May so she can use it in her next contest, and Ash to use in his gym battle. The pair begin to bicker, and so Wurmple retreats. Not wanting to miss this opportunity, both May and Ash throw a Pokeball. The balls collide in mid-air and fall into the bushes. Both trainers rush in to see which of their balls has managed to catch Wurmple, but they're unable to tell who threw the successful ball. Already bickering, the twins claim it was their ball and so they deserve Wurmple. But without any definitive proof, it quickly descends into a case of, it's mine, no it's mine, mine, mine. Seeing no way to resolve this peacefully, Max takes possession of the ball and suggests Ash and May battle, with the winner getting Wurmple. Both agree and so head to a nearby clearing to begin their match. Each only having one Pokemon, Ash brings out his Trico, and May goes with Torchic. The two begin with a volley of pounds and pecks, trading blows back and forth. When Ash cycles in Quick Attack, he starts to take the lead, with Torchic unable to defend. May really wants this Wurmple, and so calls for an Ember. This connects and does super effective damage to the grass type. As more Embers let fly, Ash knows his only hope is his trump card. With a cry, he tells Trico to use Iron Tail. Trico responds by leaping into the air and somersaulting, as its tail begins to glow white. May and Max look on in awe, thinking the battle is all but over. But before Trico can land the hit, its tail stops glowing and looks very confused. This gives May the opening she needs for a point-blank Ember that knocks Trico out and wins her the battle. May is overjoyed as she prances over to claim her new Wurmple, while Ash is a little whinge that he wanted it. After checking Trico is okay, he tells the group he's going to go work on Iron Tail for a little while, since they came close in that last battle. May tries to warn him to let Trico rest, but Ash is already gone. A little way away, Ash and Trico keep their practice up with Iron Tail, though Trico is tired and is eager to master this attack, and so pushes itself to keep going. Through their efforts, Trico is able to hold Iron Tail long enough to hit an opponent, but their results are still incomplete, with Trico losing power 1 out of every 3 attempts. One such failure comes when Trico is using Iron Tail on a tree branch. His plan was to slice the branch in half, but all it manages to do is rattle the branch, and cause a Pokemon to fall out. To Ash's delight, he does a Wurmple, and he decides that without May around to interfere, he'll catch this one for himself. Calling for a Quick Attack, Trico smacks into Wurmple, who seems rather confused how it got down here and what is even going on. As it slams its back into the tree, Wurmple is then assailed with an iron tail to the head, which knocks it out cold. Ash then pulls out his Pokeball and tosses it. The ball shakes once, twice, 3 times, and stops with a click. Ash rushes over at once and brings Wurmple out, welcoming it to the family. Wurmple, still kinda dazed, seems happy enough with this arrangement, and so slithers up Ash's arm and onto his shoulder. Ash then returns to where his siblings are to show off his newly caught Pokemon. May is happy for Ash, but Max thinks it's stupid that Ash and May both caught the same Pokemon. The twins protest that it's not the same, each saying theirs is obviously better. May brings out her own Wurmple to prove it, and at once the differences are obvious. While Ash's is fairly sedate, May's is rambunctious, and quickly something akin to a sibling rivalry develops between the two bug types. Now with a Pokemon each, and Rustboro City in sight, things looking bright for Ash and May. Find out what awaits them next time, when the journey continues.